in the shopping center now.
Ich könnte Ihnen diese Auskunft
It's all
beantworten, wenn wir
really
die schon mal
fresh,
hätten.
and
Aber da sind wir
I
dran.
can give you more
Habe ich gerade
details.
gesagt, 5.
5 persons killed.
Das ist auch alles noch recht
Adults,
früh.
children, that's too early to say. The priority we have is to establish what happened there at the location, and then we need to identify the 5 persons killed. So this is a terror situation. We have terrorism. If somebody used a rifle, and that was the first report at the shopping center, if somebody takes a rifle into the shopping center, and I think about what happened in Europe, so we need to assume the worst case. And yes, rifles were mentioned when we got the emergency calls. How many police officers, forces do you have? Many, that's what I can say. They come from the area of Munich. But if we have such situations, we also can have a strengthening of the forces really quickly because of the neighboring areas. So we have sufficient police officers in the city. What about the perpetrators? We believe there are 3 perpetrators. We have contradicting information, but up to 3, they are still at large. Can you tell us something about the rifles? A long weapon, that means it's longer than a pistol, so it is something like a rifle. Where are you looking for these perpetrators? Are you looking just for them in Munich? We are really quickly, so we assume they are still in Munich, and we have had alerts in other areas. Do you have any other information about the shooting? These are important informations, and we hope everybody will share information with us, and we will have an upload portal for our criminal investigation department in order to get more information. Why did you cordon off everything? It's one of our measures taken, and we want to make sure the inhabitants are secure.
Meine Damen und Herren, soweit erstmal das Statement der Polizei zu eben der Bestätigung mindestens 5 Tote. Das ist jetzt
the police, 5 persons have been killed. We have information that all the clinics in Munich are on alert because you...
All right, so they're just turning that around. So in essence, let's correct. They've just corrected to 5 dead, according to this police briefing in Munich, telling people, as we've been reporting, to avoid public places. These gunmen are at large, they say. They're saying terrorism. They're saying, listen, if you have a rifle and you're walking into a shopping center and you begin shooting innocent people, they're calling that terrorism, and they're assuming the worst case scenario. Say up to 3 gunmen, all still at large. Someone asked, what does the gun look like? And he responded, it's longer than a pistol. And they're assuming the gunmen are still in Munich. Bob Baer, anything jump out at you of that new information?
Well, it's the confusion that's still going on, Brooke. I mean, this is an active shooting situation, and I expect the toll to go up simply because they haven't cleared that mall. It could take them hours to clear it, to look for the gunman. And the question is, are the gunmen waiting? Do they have hostages? Right now, the police only thing they can do is put a lot of force on it and hope for the best. You know, the fact that there are 3 shooters, I find very disturbing, suggests a coordinated attack, obviously. And again, I go to the Islamic State or Al-Qaeda, and that's simply because the Germans have been warning us this week that there would be more attacks. They probably picked up some chatter of some sort, or even have sources inside these groups, but this is too late. You just simply cannot protect all these malls. Vulnerable targets, soft targets, and there's not much you can do when someone's assaulting them with a long gun or even a pistol.
And just reminding people, you talk about German threats. It was just as recent as Monday that there was that Afghan teenager on that train in Würzburg, Germany. All of this, Munich, Würzburg, this is all in the state of Bavaria in the southern part of Germany, and the axe attack. So that happened Monday, and flash forward to what looks like a terror attack in Munich. Juliet Kayyem, what are you thinking?
Well, it's interesting that German officials said terrorism they're using the word terrorism just simply because of the weaponry used. So just making clear to your viewers, there's a limited number of options, and some of them are rather obvious. ISIS directed, ISIS inspired, and then the third, which German officials will either include or exclude relatively soon, would be, right-wing terrorism, which is probably the lowest on the pecking order. But they're keeping all three open. They must have pictures of the perpetrators. So until they exclude one group, we're going to keep them all. We meaning investigators would keep all of them open. And just picking up on what Bob said, this is what you're seeing in Munich is lessons learned from years of, unfortunately, of this kind of terrorism. The police are going to come on strong. They're going to assume anyone could be a culprit. They're going to close all mass transit system. And Munich and Germany rightfully seem to be communicating very well with the population in terms of sheltering in place and using social media. So there are, sort of important aspects of the response that are based on just, unfortunately, years of these kinds of attacks.
And as you point out from tragedies past too, doing the right thing and shutting down public transportation. So Germany responding effectively, quickly, and hopefully they're correct, and that these three gunmen have not gotten too far and are still in Munich. Let me bring another voice in. Colonel Cedric Leighton, I believe, is with me, CNN military analyst and Air Force colonel, retired. Colonel Leighton, you've been